Hi, hello, and welcome to Paisa Vasool, episode number 2. We're back again. We talked about Salah last week. As always, I'm your host, Shravan. We've got Taran here with us.
Hello.
We're talking about KGF this time, as promised. KGF 1 and 2. We'll do it together. So, obviously, KGF is directed by Prashanth Neel. It's starring Rocking Star Yash.
Did he have that name prior to this movie, or was that after this movie that he got it?
Well, they have Rocking Star in, I remember distinctly in chapter 2. When he enters, it's got Rocking Star. I can't remember if he had it already in 1. He may have.
Because his name is Rocky.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Maybe he got it in chapter 2 after chapter 1. Yeah, if you know, you can let us know in the comments. So, chapter 1 came out in 2018, and chapter 2 came out in 2022. So obviously 4 years gap between the two. Chapter 1 was, I think, primarily just a Kannada film. So I watched both of them in Kannada. Did you watch them in Telugu?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one was primarily a Kannada film, but it did get a release in most of the other languages, and then obviously became quite popular, and that's what led to all the hype for number 2. And number 2 came out. It was a proper pan-Indian film because it had Sanjay Dutt and Ravina Tandon and other people in it.
Yep.
Yeah. But in terms of chapter 1, budget-wise, it was a lot smaller. So 80 crore, which is still big for a Kannada film, I guess, in 2018. But it made 250 crore across all the languages, worldwide. But then chapter 2, the budget was a lot higher. So budget was 100 crore. Well, not a lot higher, actually, just a little bit higher.
20 more. Yeah.
Yeah. And box office wise, it made between 1,200 to 1,250 crore, which makes it the 4th highest grossing Indian film ever.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because when I hadn't seen 1 when it came out. I only watched 1 and 2 just before Salah came out. So I didn't even watch 2 when it came out either. So I was like, what's all this hype about? Why does everyone like these movies so much? So I watched them. So we can get into our thoughts on it. So what did you think of 1, firstly?
It's not a bad movie. I think it's definitely the better one out of both of them.
Yeah, a lot of people like chapter 2 more than 1. Obviously,
2's more high budget. It's got nice visuals, I think.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. They're both quite decent. I don't think either one is bad. But 1 is definitely more of I think it's more mass, if that's what you're looking for. It's more kind of hype fight scenes. There's a more distinct straight plot line, whereas 2, there isn't as much of a distinct straight plot line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also think 1 is the better one out of the 2. And it ends on not a cliffhanger, but it ends pretty quickly. I thought there would be more in 1, but then it just kind of ends, and they leave a lot for number 2. Number 2, I felt like there was too much hype. That there was kind of hype that isn't.
I can't really remember any fight scenes in 2.
Yeah.
I just
there's a lot of they're talking up Rocky for most of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's not really earned. Like we already knew that he's this guy, he can do anything, whatever. We knew that. So there's 4 or 5 scenes back to back where they're just talking up this guy. And there's a couple of action scenes. There's that car chase scene in 2.
Yeah. The problem with that car chase scene is they have a lot of black cuts.
Yeah. I think they thought it would be I don't know, stylish, but
nothing happens in nothing.
Yeah, they're
happens
just driving.
They're just driving.
Yeah.
He does the same thing in Salah, except stuff happens after the cut.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just in this, it drives and then it cuts to black and then it's them still driving afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is the fight scenes with Sanjay Dutt's character.
Yeah. Sanjay Dutt's character is, I think Prashanth Neel watches a lot of Western media.
Yeah.
and he
It's
looks like the guy
Viking
from
inspired.
Vikings. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they say in the movie that he's Viking. He's like influenced by Viking
Yeah. But he
culture or
looks
something.
exactly like the guy from Vikings.
Yeah, in
Like the
terms of
TV show
yeah,
Vikings.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like the hairstyle as well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought one was the
I
better
think
one.
Sanjay Dutt isn't as good as a villain as the guy in the first movie as well.
Yes. Although the one in the first movie, he's not even like in it that much. Like KGF, the actual KGF, the Goldfields themselves are introduced in the second half of the first
Mm.
movie. So that's where you get his backstory. But like in the first half, again, it's more just like his like Rocky's backstory. Although he's like the whole movie's kind of his backstory because they keep flashing back to like when he's a kid,
Yeah.
with his mum. So the mum thing is a
Common theme in these
yeah
movies,
the
I guess.
emotional
Yeah.
the emotional attachment to his mum is a big thing in this movie, and then I guess not as much in Salah, but it's still there.
It's still there. Yeah.
Yeah, but in this one, like that's what drives the whole story essentially. In terms of positives and negatives across both movies, I think the he does do world building again in this, like around KGF and the people that run KGF and all of that. So,
In the second movie, when you see KGF, like when it's fully built, it looks amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's much bigger. It's
Yeah.
vast. Yeah. And I thought Yash was actually really good. So I did watch it in, like I said, I watched it in Canada. So I got the actual Canada dialogues, like because the original language was in Canada. So I thought it was good in terms of his performance. He's obviously like not the way they designed his character is not like a good guy. He's just like a lesser evil in a world where everyone's kind of evil.
It's like
Yeah.
an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Different from Salah once again.
Yeah.
But I think he likes the darker tones and like
Yeah.
not just black and white, but a bit of grey.
Yeah.
Well, Prashanth Neel, I'm saying he likes that kind of filmmaking.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I thought it was good. Like he's got some interesting dialogues, which normally wouldn't work, but somehow he makes them work. Like especially the English dialogues that he has, like the violence one in the second one, or the. Well, one thing we should mention is the first one released on the same day as. What's that Dhanush movie?
The Dhanush movie, yeah. Don, no, not is it Don 2?
No. Starts with M.
Mari 2.
Mari, yeah, Mari 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, released on the same day as Mari 2, and both movies had the same English dialogue.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Which we looked it up once because we weren't sure because we edited both, yeah.
I hadn't seen KGF, but I'd seen the trailer for Mari 2 like ages ago, and that dialogue was in the trailer, so I was like, oh, this dialogue's in another movie, and then we looked it up, and they're both released on the same day. So, yeah. But anyway, he makes those dialogues work, so I think he was good in the character. It's some stuff is like pretty outrageous and pretty illogical as well. Again, he's still kind of makes it work. But in the second one, I did start losing track. Like, there's some stuff that happens. I'm like, that just doesn't really make sense. Like, the Prime Minister makes some really weird decisions based off this guy.
Yeah. Well, he does go into Parliament.
Yeah,
he just rocks up to Parliament. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, like, twice. He does it twice, actually.
Yeah.
Because once he goes and meets her.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he goes and like kills the other dude.
That part when he goes up and meets her, do you think that was inspired by like Allah Veguta Barumla?
Which part in that?
Do you know how he's like wearing like the red jacket?
Oh, yeah. No, but this came out. Oh, no. This
came out after.
Chapter 2 did come out after.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He comes in and he kind of just like talks shit.
Yeah.
In like a meeting room.
Yeah. But it's just like it's a different vibe. That was more like a comedic sequence, whereas this is a bit more serious. He also meets that American dude outside her office.
And that is it's someone. It's someone famous, isn't it?
Is it? Okay.
I forget the name, but it's someone famous.
Like the actor?
No.
Oh, the person.
The character, yeah.
Yeah, is from FBI or something, wasn't he? Because at the end of the movie, they flash back to him and they're like...
Or was he the president or something? No,
He
he
was
wasn't.
CEO of something. He was like
Okay.
CEO of
Oh, he's a CEO. He's a
yeah,
CEO of something.
yeah,
And then he's like, I'm CEO of India.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then he's like CEO of India. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, the prime minister makes some weird decisions. Like, she's like, this guy's the biggest criminal, so they were gonna like halt the war against Burma or something, and then she's like, no, we're gonna go shoot them down, and then that was like meant to be a message for Rocky,
Mm.
but I'm like, why did you like kill people from
Random
another
people.
just yeah random people from another country just to
Mm.
like send a message? Yeah, it was just
I don't
weird.
remember that part,
Yeah,
but yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember distinctly because I'm like, why did you like? Why would you do that? She's also the prime minister. Like she can order an attack, which she does in the end.
Mm.
But she could have just done that instead of trying to like bomb another country. Yeah,
I found that the storyline in two is very, like, people's motives are not clear.
yeah,
And like what's actually happening. Like what is the threat in number two?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I didn't like in both actually was the romantic thread.
Yeah. It's not dealt with well.
Yeah.
Well, she's
Well, I thought in the first one she already likes him because I'm pretty sure she calls him her lover or something,
mm,
like in the first one itself. But then in the second one, she doesn't like him again,
yeah. And then she likes him again. And then
and
she
then she
dies.
dies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like they don't use that character well.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
she doesn't get anything to do, and as soon as she might have something to do, they kill her.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, if you haven't noticed already, we are talking spoilers because this movie's older. But yeah, I thought the whole romantic thing was like probably not even required.
Yeah.
It probably could have been taken out and would have worked just the same. Second one was also a bit long in terms of the runtime, and you felt it. So, like, I think they could have taken some of that stuff out. I think Sanjay Dutt's character was like they kind of build him up to be like powerful, but he kind of just like
In the end, he just dies.
he just
Yeah.
dies. Yeah,
Yeah.
like he does one thing and then he dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, like I didn't mind these movies, but I also do still find it a bit surprising that the second one made so much money.
Mm. I think it's mostly hype from the first one. And also, I don't think the first one's that amazing either.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like this resurgence of like mass South Indian movies
Yeah.
and like people wanting to watch them. And I think this and RRR are kind of both in that boat.
Well,
Yeah.
before this, it was Bahubali, I guess, that
Yeah.
really opened up like South Indian movies to the North Indian audience.
Hmm.
And then I guess this is one of the examples of another South Indian movie doing really well. But then, yeah, there's been movies after this, like Pushpa as well, that did well.
Yeah.
RRR, obviously. So obviously the North Indian audience did embrace movies like this, maybe because they don't get these kind of movies.
But I think as a South Indian viewer, it's probably not something that is that different. Like,
No.
this movie has shades of stuff we've seen before.
Well, I think Chhatrapati is probably like it's very similar to this movie.
Yeah.
And parts of Chhatrapati are probably better than this.
Yeah.
Still, yeah. Not the Hindi remake Chhatrapati,
Which I hear is bad.
Yeah.
Haven't
The
seen it, yeah.
2005 Telugu film with coincidentally with Prabhas.
But yeah, I don't think it's particularly anything special. They didn't do anything like that new. But I do think what they do in it is quite decent.
Yeah, and I did like the music. I thought the music was done really well. It is loud again, but I guess that's kind of what they're going for. But I did like the music.
And we did mention in the Sala review, but the first 10 minutes is very confusing.
Yes.
They just throw
There's
out
a lot of characters.
too many characters. Yeah.
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 But it all revolves around Rocky. Like the whole, both the movies are just around the main character. Whereas I think Salah, there's a bit more to it than just that. Obviously, there's stuff about him as well, but there is the Kansa, world of Kansa, and then like Prithviraj's character, and then like his family and all that. Like I feel like there's a lot more
But I've
Yeah.
heard people that prefer KGF to Salah.
Yeah, a lot of people
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't. I prefer Salah over KGF, but I think yeah. Personally, I just feel that Rocky is in the
Well,
second one, his motivations is just money. And yeah, well, his motivation through all of it is mostly money.
yeah.
And there's no real clear story in the second one. He's already rich, so like where's he going? Like what's happening with it? And yeah.
Well, at the start of the second one, it's already established that he's running KGF, and then he like gets rid of like a couple of the people that want to take it over anyway.
Yeah.
Then he's like, there's just all these random story threads where he goes to like Dubai and he like gets weapons and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. It does get a bit confusing and convoluted.
Yeah. I think the first one's pretty clear. He's has to kill this one guy, and he can't do it the first time, but then he has to go to KGF to kill him.
And there is a bit of an arc in the first one where he is he's not a good guy, but then again, like I said, he's like a lesser evil. So like he's still got some good in him because he like gets rid of the bad guys within KGF. Yeah.
But also his plot to assassinate that guy in KGF. It's very convoluted.
In the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really, like when it got to the part where he's assassinating him, I'm like, how did you orchestrate this?
Yeah. And it doesn't end up happening, right? And then he goes into
No, even the part when he kills him at the end. It's like,
okay.
It's like it's so hard to orchestrate everything that happens.
Yeah. Like, well, it just pays off, but yeah, it is a bit of a stretch. I do like the part where he picks up the hammer though. In the first
KGF,
one.
Yeah, very Chhatrapati like.
Because he's got like a little one and he puts it down and he gets like a bigger one.
Yeah.
And
I like that he just chops the guy's head off at the end of the first one.
Yeah, it's very swift.
Yeah.
And the sequence where he goes into the mine after he gets the hammer.
Yeah. That's good with the blind guy. Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
and all the lights are off, so it's kind of like replicating what the blind guy is experiencing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, it's kind of like the bad guys become the blind guy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like they're feeling what that guy's felt for all these years. Like,
yeah.
The danger that he felt. But I thought
all that part in the KGF when he goes to the mine and he's like pretending to be a worker.
Yeah.
That part's all good. Yeah.
In terms of the ending, so the chapter 2 ending, so obviously he's dead.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, maybe he survives it, but they do hint at a chapter 3. And Prashanth Neel said they are going to do chapter 3, but I'm guessing it's not chapter 3, but more like 1.5, I guess. Because there is a time jump in the movie of about 4 years or something.
Yeah.
Where he does stuff.
And it looks like the FBI is after him. And like is MI6 after him or something as well?
I think FBI or someone's after him.
Yeah. So I'm guessing there's some stuff that happens in America or something.
International
shenanigans.
Gangster stuff that's happening. Yeah. The storytelling method can get confusing as well because there's actually 2 narrations happening at the same time as well.
So he in the first one and the second one, there's this guy who was in No, he's a reporter. There's a guy who's a reporter and he's written a book about KGF, but it's not finished. And in the first one, he's the one narrating it, isn't he?
Yeah. So the first one, he's narrating it.
And then he narrates the story of Rocky, but sometimes he's narrating his story as well. So it jumps back and forth. And the second one, it's his son that's narrating it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then there's this, is that the younger version of the writer? Because there's this other guy that's narrating it too.
That's the younger version of the guy who's narrating it in the first one.
Yeah. Who wrote the book. So there's someone narrating the story to the writer, and then the writer's also narrating the story to a journalist at the same time. Like it's like the same story. Like they're covering the same things.
Yeah. The guy that says he's not a gangster, he's a monster.
Yeah.
So the guy he's saying that to is the reporter.
The writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they end with that, and he's like, "I'm going to write a book about this," and that's the way they end it. Yeah, so it does get a bit confusing because they switching back and forth between all these
I
stories.
think it's a bit unnecessary.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much. Like
Yeah.
there's too many layers of narration that's happening
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This easily could be told without having to do a narration,
Yeah.
because no one in the future has any bearing on the story. Like nothing they do in the future actually matters.
Yeah.
So why is this story being narrated back?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And also to make matters worse, in the reason they got the son to narrate it in the second one was
Because
because
the guy dies.
in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he passed away in real life, so they had to cover up for that and get Prakash Raj to become the narrator. Do you know Prakash Raj is actually Kannada?
Oh, is he? Okay. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So like I heard him speak Kannada. And like I mean he's good at all the
He's good
languages,
at all of
but
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's his actual language, mother tongue.
But yeah, because now that I think about it, they could cut that whole part out and just have it be a normal story be told,
Yeah.
and have Rocky do
But I guess
Yeah.
the whole narration part is like they give him
hype him.
they give him more hype. They give
Yeah.
him more elevations. They're like, oh, this happened, that happened. And they show like that people are I guess they're meant to be like the audience, but they're showing their reaction and they're like how invested they are in the story and stuff. And there's parts where like I think it was meant to be for like slight levity and comic relief as well when the journalist and there's this other guy that's getting super invested in the story.
Yeah,
as
he's
well.
like he's the guy that gives them tea,
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is like getting really into it. And there's one part where I message you. I'm like, the funniest part in the whole series is when he walks in with a coffee and the journalist lady is like, when did I ask for a coffee?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yep.
Remember that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when you watch it next time, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like that's the funniest part in the movie. And it's just like, why is that in the movie?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of things in this movie. I'm like, why is this in here?
Yeah.
But it is, and
Yeah.
it's okay.
But I do like Yash, and I'd
Yeah.
like to see him in.
Yeah, would like to see him in more stuff.
Apparently, his new movie is called Toxic.
Yeah, I think there is a teaser, and he's also in the Ramayana movie with Ranbir Kapoor.
Which they're still making. I don't think
Yeah.
they've started making it.
They haven't started yet.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Ranbir's next movie after Animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That movie Toxic is with a Malayali director, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's something different. But she said it's another gangster movie potentially. Yeah, but this was the first Kannada movie I've seen actually, like end to end.
I've seen a bit of Kantara. I haven't finished it.
Yeah, we should probably talk about it. So Hombale Films, who produced this and also Salah and also Kantara, yeah, like they're one of the bigger production houses in India, I guess. So I've heard Kantara's like
I watched a bit of it. People like it, but I thought it was a bit weird. I
they're
wasn't
doing a
enjoying it.
prequel to it
Yeah.
now. It's coming out this year. They're doing a
Okay.
prequel to it. Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of the parts I watched. Yeah.
Okay. It's got some like some spiritual like slash horror vibes or something to it. Like I haven't
I
seen
didn't
it.
find
but-
it scary. I just found
Yeah.
it weird. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we should look into that as well. Anything else on KGF?
No. I'm not a huge fan of this franchise. I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think it's fine. I still do find it surprising that it's so
As
successful.
successful as
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's good that as Kannada film got so much popularity across India, because generally most South Indian films, like I guess Tamil films, get the most viewership out of traditionally before like Bahubali. It used to be Hindi, then maybe Tamil, then the rest. But like it's good that Telugu and Kannada and Malayalam films are also getting viewed across the country and getting a bit more popularity. Yeah. So next we're going to be talking about Atadu, which is a bit of a nostalgia trip. We're going back to 2005, one of Mahesh Babu's first big hits, I guess. Like he
He
had
was on
some,
a hot streak. He was, yeah.
he had some like successful movies before that, but this was one of his.
I think he did like,
Yeah.
He had 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah.
He'd won before this and like
One
3 after this. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was kind of like one of the films that really grew his popularity. So we're going to be talking about that in anticipation for Guntur Karam, which is a Sankranti release with the combination of Mahesh Babu and Trikram again for the third time. So stay tuned for that in the next week or so. And then obviously we will be talking about Guntur Karam when it comes out, and one of the other Sankranti releases. So let us know which one.
Yeah, maybe let us know.
Let us know which one you want us to talk about. There's like 4 or 5 that are coming out. There's also some in Tamil that are coming out as well. There's a Dhanush film coming out.
Yeah.
Captain Miller, I think.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So it's going to be a pretty packed weekend of Indian films.
Probably only get to watch one other one, possibly. Yeah.
1 or 2. If it's really good, we might watch 3. But yeah, you let us know which ones you want us to review, and we'll see if we can do it. So if people want to get in touch with us and tell us about how they felt about KGF, are you a really huge fan of this? Let us know. How do I go?
There's a lot of huge fans of this.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get hate. We did like it.
We said we liked it. It's just we didn't like it as much as everyone. Yeah.
Cognitive Recalibration Podcast at gmail.com. That's our email, or Cognitive Recalibration on all platforms.
And if you want to support the podcast, obviously subscribe to this channel, Paisa Vasool. Give us a like to this on this video. And if you like our review style, we do have another channel, Cognitive Recalibration, where we review Hollywood films mostly. And we've been doing that for quite some time. So there's a lot more content on there. 168 episodes, I think, something around there. So give us a subscribe on Cognitive Recalibration as well. Okay. Another episode done. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed our thoughts on KGF. Let us know if you agree or disagree with us. And hope you're all staying safe. And we'll see you for Atadu. See you later.
Bye.